welcome back. It's our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk. It's our segment 3 of On the Hill Sports Talk with Pat Jenkins, and this segment is also brought to you by Lindsay & Associates with locations in Fayetteville, also 2 locations in Rogers. And this segment is also brought to you by Locomotion. Looking for a place to take the kids and have a good time? Locomotion, located in Fayetteville, just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. And if you don't get a chance to catch us here on our live stream of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk, each and every day from 1 to 2. Make sure you go and catch our podcast on iHeartRadio, as we'll make sure you get a chance to hear the top interview each and every day on iHeartRadio. But we want to take a trip down to Oxford, Mississippi, and catch up with our good buddy and talk a little Ole Miss of Rebel Walk, Courtney Asher Smith. Courtney, welcome to the Hill, my man.
Well, thank you, man. As always, I'm glad to be on your show.
First and foremost, let's recap real quick before we get off into the meat of your interview. UT Martin, what did you take away from that ball game heading into this big one you guys have versus the Pac-12 foe in Cal? What do you feel good about, Courtney? And what do you feel like they need to get a little bit better at?
Well, I know when we talked about, the season opener, previewing it, I feel like Ole Miss, need to get out to a fast start against South Alabama. Don't allow their team to gain confidence like it did against Mississippi State last season. And the opposite happened. South Alabama was gaining confidence. They were playing very good on both sides of the football, and fans were on the edge, like, we about to end up like the Bulldogs and lose one, to a team that we shouldn't lose to. And luckily that big third quarter helped Ole Miss get over the hump and beat South Alabama. And the same thing happened this past Saturday against UT Martin. Start off slow. You're trailing the whole game until in the second half when you take a 1-point lead to halftime. Then you have another monster third quarter like you did against the Jaguars. You score 21 points. A.J. Brown has another monster game. DeMarcus Lawrence has a monster game. Shea Patterson breaks Chad Kelly's record of most yards thrown in a single game in school history. So offensively, this team is what I thought it would be: very fast, very explosive. Right. I'm not shocked by what I'm seeing offensively, and then I'm also not shocked by what I'm seeing defensively. This defense so far hasn't done very well stopping the run. You had UT Martin starting running back rush for 188 yards. And Trey Mentor for South Alabama rushed for 83 yards. And I think both of them averaged over 7 yards a carry. So far, of what happened last year, can't stop the run. They're starting to look like it's deja vu all over again for this defense. Good point. Wesley McGrill said it best after the win Saturday that, we got to do a better job of tackling, getting a hand on a body part, because we can't win in the SEC if we can't stop the run, which is true because you saw what happened last year. So defensively, this team needs some linebackers. Your best linebacker is Gates. He's been starting a redshirt freshman, Dante Evans, that hadn't got many snaps until now. You recruited a lot of linebackers, but the thing is, you can recruit some, but who's going to produce besides Gates? Good point. Gates is the only one out there. He had a team high 9 tackles against UT Martin. Outside of Gates, who do you have? The defensive line I think has done pretty well. But once the running back somehow gets past that stout defensive line, the linebackers are nowhere to be found. That those DBs are not able to tackle either. So you still got question marks on the defensive end as far as linebackers in their secondary.
When you look at Ole Miss football, I know you're going to be quite busy this week covering, unfortunately, not the keys to you guys' upcoming game versus the Cal Bears, but a bigger issue that's been lingering over that program, for quite some time. Talk about the upcoming meeting that the Ole Miss football program has with the NCAA, and what do you think are going to be some of the things that come out of this, and what are you going to be focusing on?
I mean, outside this, this Cal game, I'm definitely going to be looking at, basically how this decision is going to affect the next 4 years of Ole Miss football, because your 2018 class is not looking good. Your 2019 class, you gotta start gradually preparing for that class. Your next 4 class. So you got an interim head coach that he's not even sure if he's going to be the head coach after this season is over with. There's basically no positive, no sense of direction for this program right now, because you got your former coach Hugh Freeze that's currently in Covington, Kentucky. That his name is having to defend himself and not having. I think he was cited for lack of institutional control within the program. You got Ross B. York there having to defend himself and on these allegations are crap. You got Barney Ferrier that his name was all over it. Derek Nick's name was all over these allegations. So if some good can come out of this, then you can keep. Then you would know, okay, we can move on. We can be relevant in the SEC instead of being the bad talk of the SEC. But if this comes out where you lose scholarships, they hit you with 2 years of postseason ban. You're losing your best players that are currently on the roster. Then you're going to have to figure out who's going to want to coach this team. Well, Matt Luke still want to coach this team knowing that you're not going to be able to play for the SEC championship. You're not going to be able to play in the bowl game. How recruits are going to take this? Are recruits going to still be willing to come there and play, or these kids going to go elsewhere where they know they're going to get 12 games plus a conference championship game plus a bowl game? It's really a 50-50 chance, in my opinion, that Ole Miss comes out of this in a positive light, where the NCAA kind of lets off and just let them go on. I honestly don't see that. With everything that has happened, and with Freeze, what has happened to Freeze, I think was the icing on the cake, where NCAA is going to hit them hard. And for the next 4 years, I think fans should embrace themselves and just be patient while this program goes through turmoil.
Talking with Courtney Asher Smith of Rebel Walk, talking Ole Miss football, also talking NCAA talk that's going to be coming up with Ole Miss football program and the NCAA committee. Before we came on, Courtney, you made a statement that I found rather interesting as well, and I want to ask you about that. Interim coach Matt Luke, was not a name tagged to any of the allegations, but you said he's going to be at the hearing. Does that puzzle you with him being the head coach, and then you have to come back and somehow get this team focused as a head coach to get ready to host a very dangerous and a sleeper, I think, in the Purdue Boilermakers? How do you think that's going to play out?
I honestly think that it was nonsense for him. Being the interim head coach, would have to step into a situation that his name was nowhere to be found on any of the allegations that came out from the NCAA committee. Why he's in Covington, Kentucky for 3 days, and you got a big road, your first true test of the season on the road in Berkeley, California against the California Golden Bears. Why does he have to be there? I understand why Hugh Freeze has to be there. I understand why Barney, if he has to show up. I understand why he has to be there. And Chris Kiffin and Coach Nick. I understand why those guys would have to be there, but I don't understand why Matt Luke has to be there. I think he's he should be at Oxford preparing this program for a big road test, because after Cal it doesn't get any easier. You got at Alabama, at Auburn, then you got to come back home, play a tough Vandy team, then hit the road against Kentucky. So you're the rest of this season is going to be tough week after week. Why he's there, I don't know. It's puzzling to me. I honestly think that it was just the only reason I think he's there is because he's currently the head coach and he's been on the staff. But outside of that, there's really no reason why he should be there. In my opinion, he should.
Well, as always, Courtney, hey, we appreciate your insight as to what's going on down in Oxford, Mississippi. We look forward to catching up with you and recapping this big game you guys have versus the Cal Bears. But as always, thanks for taking time out on the Hill Court.
As always, appreciate it.
That was Courtney Asher Smith of Rebel Walk. Big time information coming out of Oxford. They've got a situation that from all intents, Demetrius, doesn't look good if you're a member of the football program there at Ole Miss. I mean, what do you think this takes the program if they do get some very severe sanctions? That'll impact you pretty much for the next 4 years. Where do you see Ole Miss going from here?
I don't think it's the if, but when they get the sanctions.
Good point.
But in the SEC, I only can see it trending downward with the type of competition and the type of money thrown around in this particular league. It's definitely going to take a toll, whether it be recruiting, whether it be fan base wise. It's going to hurt Ole Miss in some magnitude.
I think it's going to affect both the fans and the recruiting. But unfortunately, they always say, Demetrius, what you do in the dark will eventually come to light. And the moment that Laramie Tunsil put that information out the day after he was drafted to the Miami Dolphins, it just seems like a fire had been lit and it can't be put out. But we'll hope for the best, and we'll keep up with Courtney as we'll get more and more details. But we're going to step away, get us a real quick break. Going to talk more Hogs Frogs. We'll recap that with Mascot Media's own Derek Oxford. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins.